me Michelle, on the street lights on the corner. City vibes got a story. Feel the beat, don't ignore me.
What's going on, everybody? Let me fix my outline here on my layout. Y'all know how I do. Okay, this is my first time going solo this year. Happy 2025, everybody. Hopefully, everybody's doing well. I wanted to come on here real quick because there's been some footage floating around. And this footage is a pro-life reporter, and she is doing street interviews. Now, I'm going to share a bit of the interview here, but I'm sure you've seen the clip that's been trending all over the place. Pro-life YouTuber goes around, has street interviews. She goes to the Bronx. Okay, she goes to the Bronx to do street interviews. Now, if you're not familiar with the Bronx don't play. If you listen to the Breakfast Club, Charlemagne always says the craziest people come from the Bronx and all of Florida. All right, that is said on a regular basis. And I would think with that being said all this time, that maybe she didn't tune in. Maybe she missed a couple of episodes of the Breakfast Club not to get familiar with this way the people in the Bronx move. I am formerly from the East Coast. I never lived in the Bronx, but I've been through the Bronx. Bronx, you just don't go around there joking with folks, okay? Nobody's in the mood to play. That's the Bronx, okay? So let me see if I can share a little bit of this footage with you because I had a chance to watch the entire interview, which is a little over 20 minutes. And watching the entire interview, I can see where sis got agitated. So y'all got to pause while I pull this bad boy up here. Okay, so that's the video right here. Now, the lady in the blue, she is the pro-life reporter. Lady with the tan jacket on, burgundy shirt, is a resident that she just decided to, hey, let's have a street interview. Let's have a conversation about these abortion issues, all right? Now, everybody has different opinions on this particular topic. When it comes to your personal choice, your body, that's what you do. That's you. But at the same time, we have a lot of people that like to almost shame you for believing in what you believe in, right? So this particular incident, I'm going to play this clip, and then I'm going to get back to what my thoughts are on how she interacted with this girl during this street interview. Hot ass mess. Hang on.
I think that your point of view is very obstructed, and I think that you just don't understand the magnitude of having a child.
Yeah, well, I'm not the one who admitted they would be okay with killing babies in foster care and killing children that have been abused.
That's not the point. What I'm saying.
That's really.
What's wrong with you?
Yo, pop off and walk off. Okay, let me close that out. That's what sis did. She, you know, I'm gonna tell you something. I cannot give justice to violence is not necessary, right? It's easy for me to sit here and say that, but it's also easy for me to see and read the body language of the girl she was interviewing. She was agitated. And I think she was at one point in the interview trying to walk away because I think she was like, okay, this heifer here is rubbing me the wrong way. I'm going to need her to give me my space. And I'm also going to need her to get some reality because from the reporter's standpoint, there's no reason, there is no need and necessity. The girl she's talking to, like, girl, these are hard times out here. Sometimes people don't want to do that, but they don't have the option. They can't afford it. And I understand that as well. But at the same time, when you are interviewing people, this is just my take on it. When you are interviewing people, especially street interviews, because you don't even know who you're going to interact with. It's just random energy you selecting to talk to on camera, right? And her husband was holding the camera. So with this, when you interview people, I would have researched the neighborhood, you know, to see what the opinions are, what the stats are when it comes to that issue in that community. And then maybe go around and ask a couple of questions, but you have to ask it in reference to how they're going to relate to it. You can't go out and push your personal beliefs on anybody. And this interview went from the original question, then it got into religion, child care. I mean, it went all over the place at one point. But I want to say the girl who was interviewing was agitating. She was irritating me, and I wasn't even being interviewed. She was agitating because, like I said, she was like pushing her opinion down this girl's throat. You can't pull me off the street and ask me, "Oh, how do you feel about this?" And if I have a different opinion than you do, so we're just going to agree not to agree. Okay, we're going to agree to disagree. Why do I need to sit here and go back and forth with you when the point's already been made? So, even though we just had that, was the punch justified? That's the main question. Was the punch justified? It's never the answer, but it could have been prevented. It could have been prevented. And what responsibility comes when you do a street interview? There's responsibility in that. And I'm just going to say this. If you're going to be on the streets interviewing random people, you need to start reading body language. You need to start reading when you can see a person is starting to get agitated. Because like I said, I was in a few minutes in and I could see homegirl. She was just like, okay, I'm about to clock this heifer. I can see it coming. It's just like certain predicaments that we know people, and if you put them in a certain space, they're going to respond a certain way. So you see it coming. Let's avoid all the drama if possible. I know sometimes we can't, but if it's possible, can we avoid it? So now we got this woman. She done got clocked. The girl done walked off. From what I hear, her and her husband are filing a lawsuit. And the girl that was interviewed that's going to be sued, she said, hey, look, you going to drop all this footage. I apologize. I knocked your ass out. Okay, I'm sorry I knocked your ass out. But at the same time, I want you to show the whole interview. Don't just show clips leading up, just where it looks like I've been antagonizing you and it was the other way around. Don't drop random clips, trying to piece them together, and at the end put the big pow of you getting knocked out. And when I watched it, again, I don't condone it, but I understand. Okay? I don't condone people just randomly getting knocked out, but I understand because sometimes you try your best to interact with folks on a common sense level, a decent level, and then people have ways to just keep on pressing your buttons. And like I said, at one point, the girl was trying to walk away because we're not going nowhere going back and forth in the street. I've been talking to your ass for 20 minutes. You don't even know what I got on my agenda. And you up here talking to me, you're not even asking me anything. You're shoving your opinion down my throat. So that's not what we're going to do. So again, I'm not sure how long that girl has been doing reporting. But I know if you're going to be doing street interviews, you need to study the location. If she was going to act like that, she should have went to the Hamptons. I'm sorry. That would have been a safer space for you. You might have had a Karen interaction, but it would have probably been safer than you getting clocked on the street in the Bronx. Okay? So, with that being said, if you're going to be a reporter, you have to learn not to shove your opinion. You're supposed to be asking and getting feedback. That's not what happened in this scenario. It was a full-on street debate about stuff that really, it was associated with the original question, but it started going all over the place for me. So I'm not sure how often this girl blogs, but like I said, she is a pro-lifer, and she does this on a regular basis. But like I said, I just hope and pray this is not her normal format. Because see, if that's going to be your normal format, you might as well get used to getting knocked out. You need to go ahead. You're going to have to get used to being knocked out because you just can't interact with anybody like that. You can't do that. So again, I hope the journalist is fine. I'm not sure where this lawsuit is going. I've been checking out the Lauren LaRosa podcast. She is, I think, the news producer on the Breakfast Club. Now she's got her own podcast, and so she's following the story. And this is why I know all my tidbits, okay? Because I really don't even delve into this. I just happened to come across the footage, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, that was random. And when you see the full picture, you will understand somewhat why this girl got her ass knocked out. And I'm trying to see if they're going to submit that evidence. That I'm sure they are. The full interview, they're going to probably watch that in court. And I'm not sure if it's going to require a jury. I doubt it's a lawsuit, but I don't know. I don't know all the ins and outs of the court system. All I know is that if there's a jury, they may watch that. Because if I'm part of that jury, I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm like, sis, you was asking for that. You was not giving that girl no breathing room. You kept on pushing on what your solution is when your solution is not a solution for everybody. That's the thing. You can say what sounds good to you and what may work for you, but that may not work for me. And when I'm making it obvious to you that's not going to work for me, and you're constantly pushing something down my throat, then I'm gonna get agitated, like the lady in the video did. So again, was she wrong for punching? Absolutely. But I blame the reporter as well. I'm sure there's been many incidents where journalists and reporters, bloggers, street interviews go wrong. But this lady, I'm sorry, sis, you set yourself up. You set yourself up going out in the Bronx, pushing this agenda that you believe in on people who don't have that lifestyle. That's just like a rich person going into a poverty-struck neighborhood and bragging about his latest investment. They don't want to hear that shit. They just want to pay rent. They want to make sure the lights are on them. They want to make sure the kids are fed. They don't want to hear that shit. So if you come over here braggadocious, of course you're going to get a little attitude. And you may catch some hands in the mix with it. That's just my opinion. So, for all of you independent bloggers, YouTubers, anybody out there with a microphone in their hand and a camera and the other trying to talk to random people, do your research. Know how to interact with people because before you have an outcome like this one, before you get your ass knocked out, you know what I mean? And in reality, this doesn't even have to be just about a street interview. This is reality and basic conversation with each other. Have you guys not seen how many videos online where people get a little too comfortable and too familiar too soon, get in a personal space? I do believe in personal space. And you get in here with this energy, you don't expect me to react. Of course I'm going to react. You're challenging me and you're being disrespectful to my space. I've already asked you to back up. And I've seen a lot of this where people just keep on pushing it. And when they get their ass whooped, they wonder why. They wonder why. So I'm just going to leave y'all with this. Please do your research. Don't be pushing your beliefs on nobody else. If they're interested in your beliefs, then fine. Talk to them about your beliefs, but don't sit up here and just shove your stuff down their throat. It don't work like that. Because anybody that's trying to push an opinion on me that I'm not down with, you're going to get an attitude from me. I mean, I'm being straight up. You're just going to get an attitude from me. That's why I don't debate about politics. It's pointless. When the election was taking place, I didn't really want nothing to do with no political conversations. You know why? Because I already made up my mind who I was going to vote for. Whoever was voting for the other person, they made up their mind. Why am I going to go back and forth on something that you already made your mind up on? That's stupid. It's just dumb to me. So that's just my opinion, y'all. So I just wanted to get on here, discuss these tidbits about these independent operators like the bloggers and YouTubers. Y'all, please do more research. Even grab the Chat GPT. It'll give you steps. How do I go about street interviews? That's what most of y'all need to do for a lot of things in life. Just go to Chat GPT and type it in. And hopefully it'll give you a good answer. So if you need to know some steps on how you need to go about street interviews, research it. Research the area. Research the people. And definitely look at the crime rate. Okay? How many folks are getting clocked upside the head rolling through the neighborhood, whichever part of the country it may be in. So just do that and be a little bit more courteous. You cannot anticipate trying to have a street interview with somebody who is opposing your opinions. But if you are going to be a journalist and putting cameras in people's faces, you're going to have to learn the art of talking to people. Period. So that's all I had on my mind. Plus, I had my makeup on. I said, hey, might as well put this to use. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So I am working on some interviews, but I will be coming on here a lot more solo with little tidbits. I didn't have a chance to get a full outline for y'all, but hey, I almost knocked 20 minutes, almost 5 minutes off from doing 20 minutes solo. All right, so it's a challenge for me. So I appreciate those that tuned in, chimed in. Of course, you got any feedback or anything you want me to cover, I'll come on here and just do stuff like this and just chat up a topic that we have all seen in these streets. All right, y'all. So I hope everybody enjoyed themselves. Y'all have a blessed weekend. And the new episode of my next episode will be out Tuesday. Yes, next Tuesday. I have not made up my mind what the conversation is going to be, but I'm working on it. And I promise you, I will have a plan when I do. All right. So everybody, y'all be blessed. Take care. And until next time, y'all, I'm going to see y'all in these streets. Bye.
Talk to me, Michelle. Talk to me, Michelle.
Edited by Protege Consulting.